Well, we are going to have an opportunity to discuss geopolitical issues, not only Israel, but also Ukraine. And so all these matters will be on the table for proper discussion. And we are very rational when it comes to discussing global and geopolitical matters. And we will put South Africa's interest first, and our own foreign policy positions will be well clarified. So fear not.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to another epic episode. Welcome to Nizaluchi. Welcome to another political talk. So our president have jetted off to the USA to meet up with President Donald Trump, and we know why is that. So today in this episode, I want us to expose the real nature of this visit and why this visit is so dangerous. You see, there were talks that were happening over the past years, even before President Cyril Ramaphosa came into office, which were accusing him of working for the elite, working for those who are in charge of the country, working for the white monopoly capital. You know, the second term of President Cyril Ramaphosa will just prove exactly that to be correct. Anyone after this episode who will come boldly and say that President Cyril Ramaphosa is not working for white monopoly capital in South Africa, I don't know. I don't know what you need. I don't know. All right, President Cyril Ramaphosa make this trip, and he has his own delegations there, people who are accompanying him to make these talks. So today, this episode particularly, it will be speaking about who are the brains, who are the people that has made this deal to happen. Because we know that over the past years, President Cyril Ramaphosa was very, very arrogant and talking tough. Where's the tough talk of saying, don't want to meet President Trump, cannot be detected by President Trump. Let Trump keep his America and we'll keep our South Africa. And Donald Trump has nothing to do with what we're doing here in South Africa.
And we've been saying, for this issue of the land, this issue that Donald Trump fears so much, we offer this question of the land. I don't know what Donald Trump has to do with South African land, because he's never been here. And he must keep his America, we will keep our South Africa. That's what he must do. South Africa is our land. South Africa belongs to all the people who live here in South Africa. It does not belong to Donald Trump. He can keep his America. And Ene is even worse. He is even worse. When I meet him, I will tell him. I will say, you, Donald Trump, you are even worse, because your forebears came to America. They found the native, the indigenous Americans. They wiped them out. They killed nearly all of them. Rine, we are living as a nation, and black and white, we are going to find solutions for our land question. So Donald Trump must leave us alone.
See, President Cyril Ramaphosa always had that the name, speaking tough now, as a person who is not scared of Donald Trump. And now the same person now is running after Donald Trump. He is going there to back there in America.
Guys. Killer, I don't know if you can hear me.
who has made this deal to happen. So there are two people that have been accompanying President Cyril Ramaphosa. Let me say two groups that are accompanying President Cyril Ramaphosa. There's a group for the public, right? That is the likes of Ronald Lamula, John Steenhuisen. Those are the group that the GNU members who are accompanying the president to meet up with Donald Trump. But there are two delegates. There's a visible one and the invisible one. So now, what is so shocking after everything is that even Johann Rupert is part of the delegation of the people who will be meeting up Donald Trump. News 24 reports this. Rupert says any else was the driving force behind Ramaphosa-Trump meeting. Right. So there's a delegation that you and we don't know about. Right. It seems like there are other people who are also there present. Right. The likes of Johann Rupert, the likes of Ronald Lamula, the likes of John Steenhuisen, the likes of any else. I'll tell you about who is he. The likes of Retifa Hossein, right? These are other people, other members, other delegates that is invisible. The likes of Hossein, the likes of us, the likes of Rupert. So those ones are invisible, right? So the visible one is the minister that we know, Minister Ronald Lamula, Minister of International and Cooperation of South Africa, and John Steenhuisen, who is the leader of the opposition, which is the Democratic Alliance, which is the DA, and also the Minister of Agriculture, right? Things that has to do with agriculture in South Africa. So what is so interesting now is that I want us to discuss about the invisible delegates that are accompanying South Africa. Now the big question is why Johann Rupert and his business associates are being sent there. Why is Rupert now being the one, the chief negotiator? Remember when I told you one of the good days that President Cyril Ramaphosa is the president of the African National Congress, the ANC. The real president of South Africa is Johann Rupert. So on our right mind, did we ever think that President Trump will agree just easy like that to meet up with President Cyril Ramaphosa after all those attacks? No ways. But there were some people that now were needed now to make this business meeting to happen. So you remember that you and I will always talk about business this, business that, business this, business once the DA, ANC working together, it is business. The business will collapse the economy. The business likes or endorses the GNU. This is business this. So the business that they always talk about is these people that are accompanying this delegation, the invisible delegation that is accompanying President Cyril Ramaphosa, right? So what is the role now of the guys like any else, right? And Retifa Hossein. So now what is so interesting is that these two guys which are also there, which we call them business, are South African born billionaires. These guys are so wealthy.
Renowned businessman Johann Rupert and former golfers Ernie Els and Retifa Hossein will join President Cyril Ramaphosa's South African delegation when he meets U.S. counterpart Donald Trump tomorrow. It's understood that South African-born businessman Elon Musk is not going to be present at the Washington meeting. Addressing the media earlier, President Cyril Ramaphosa says he's ready to present his case on behalf of the nation.
Johann Peter Rupert is a South African billionaire businessman who is the eldest son of business tycoon Anton Rupert and his wife Hubert. He is the chairman of the Swiss-based luxury goods company Richemont and the South African-based company Remgro. So Johann Rupert is one of the second richest men in Africa. So he's one of the wealthiest men in South Africa. So that is Johann Rupert. That is business. That is the entire business. Just one man having all these connection. It shows how powerful is Johann Rupert. So let us move to the second one. Theodore Ernest Els is a South African professional golfer, a former world #1. He is nicknamed the Big Easy due to his physical stature along with his fluid golf swing. Retief Goosen is a South African professional golfer who plays on the PGA Tour Champions, has won 2 US Opens in 2001 and 2004, headed the European Tour Order of Merit in 2001 and 2002, and was in the top 10 of the world's ranking over 250 weeks between 2001 and 2007. So Ernest Els and Retief Goosen, both of them are former professional golfers who also are billionaires, who also are South African born. So there are businesses that they own here in South Africa, right? I mean, one of them, which is also has a business that deals with wine. And if you link the two on what Johann Rupert is trading, that he's one of the biggest suppliers of wine in the world. So these are partners of Stellenbosch. These are partners, the people who are working closely with Johann Rupert. So they are the ones who have made now this deal to happen. It was not Ronald Lamula, it was not President Cyril Ramaphosa, but business have made now this deal to happen. So now the big question on the table is why are they there? What is it that they want now to do in terms of them meeting with Donald Trump? Because we know that America is not ignorant and they are not having false information, except that the only person who brainwashed Donald Trump, it was not a referendum with their racist tactics of what they went there to say to America, but it was Elon Musk. So Elon Musk has so many things to do with this. Why I say that, let me just give you a brief overview of what is really happening. So where is the issue? Elon Musk and AfroForum has influenced and gave false information to the USA and particularly to Donald Trump. Some of the false information about white genocide happening in South Africa. Ramaphosa has spoken with Elon Musk through his father, Errol, and they have been explaining without end about trying to come clean and say that there is no such thing like that. But now the tricky part is that America or Donald Trump is insisting to say that there is something like that. But why is he insisting though? Why is he pushing this agenda? Why he is spreading this while he knows very well? Because he has intelligence, he is informed, he pretty much knows what is happening here. Even people on social media and TikToks and other platforms, they were explaining that there is no white genocide. Even some of the white people came in boldly upfront and said that there is nothing like that. The pity is South Africa is facing crime and violence situation like the rest of the countries around the world. And I mean, Cyril Ramaphosa understands the logic of this when he will call Elon Musk to say that I want to speak directly with your son, right? I want to keep in contact and to brief him. Not that Elon Musk doesn't know what is happening here in South Africa. He knows quite well, like the US government, but they are pushing an agenda. There's something that they want that is not about the AfroForum, is not about the white Afrikaners in South Africa, but they are having their own agenda. They are having their own quarrel and they want to settle that with South Africa. And when it comes to the issue of sanctions, it is not only South Africa that has been sanctioned. We know that Donald Trump has sanctions a lot of countries that does not endorse or support what America is doing. So this is not the first time. And this thing of the notion of believing that Donald Trump now is the savior of a white Afrikaner in South Africa, it is not true. America is just simply pushing their own agenda to have their own way and just to exert their own influence and to be in charge of saying that they are in control. You have to bow down to us and to report to us. Are you trying to tell me that America doesn't know what is happening? Unless they are pushing some agenda. Number one, Elon Musk wants to make some investment of his Starlink company. But the problem is the BEE and the new policies adopted by the ANC, like Expropriation of Land Act, Musk calls them racist laws. Let us watch here.
And what about the international dimension? Now, let's think about Starlink. Starlink is obviously a very, very good internet service. It's sought after all over the world. It's critical to the front line in Ukraine. It has also had more contracts coming its way, and there is some evidence that companies are allowing access to it because they want to be close to the Trump administration and send the right signal. So Bloomberg broke news today that the South African government is working around the rules on black ownership in order to allow Starlink in, and that is being done on the eve of the visit that President Ramaphosa is going to make to the White House. Do you recognize that as a conflict of interest?
No, of course not. First of all, you should be questioning why are there racist laws in South Africa? That's the first problem. That's what you should be attacking. It's improper for there to be racist laws in South Africa. The whole idea with what Nelson Mandela, who was a great man, proposed was that all races should be on an equal footing in South Africa. That's the right thing to do, not to replace one set of racist laws with another set of racist laws, which is utterly wrong and improper. So that's the deal, that all races should be treated equally, and there should be no preference given to one or the other. Whereas there are now 140 laws in South Africa that give that basically give strong preference to if you're a black South African, and not otherwise. And so now I'm in this absurd situation where I was born in South Africa but cannot get a license to operate in Starlink because I'm not black.
Well, it looks
Does
like
that
that's
seem
about.
right
Look,
to
it
you?
looks
Does
like
seem
that.
right to you?
Looks like that's about to change.
I just asked you a question. Please answer. Does that seem right to you?
Well, those rules were designed to bring.
Yes or no?
Those rules were designed to bring about an era of more economic equality in South Africa, and it looks like the government has found a way around those rules for you.
I asked you a question.
This is your interview. Everyone wants to hear from you.
I asked you a question. Yes or no?
Not
Racist
for me.
laws, yes or no?
Not for me to answer. I have got a question for you about your government work, though, and the amount of savings.
Why do you like racist laws?
This is not for me to answer. Come on.
Yes, it is.
Now, you wouldn't be trying to dodge a question.
You have to ask
It's
the question.
difficult for
I
you
answer
to
my
answer.
question. No, you answer mine.
I think if you, I'm sure you can have that conversation directly with the South African government if you want to.
And another one of the biggest problems that America have is that America has a problem about the issue of SA, taking them to the international court about the issue of Israel and Palestine situation, that including South Africa and Iran partnership. So America has a big problem about that. For the longest of time, the leaders of AfroForum did explain to say that when they went there to meet with the Americans, with the leaders there, their leaders expressed not to be happy and gave them now this list of why they are angry at South Africa. So they've been angry with South Africa for the quiet of longest of time, and not that because of now AfroForum they became angry. AfroForum was just their way of making an excuse to seem as if they are fighting for them, but in reality they are fighting for their own egos, their own agendas, and what they want to achieve. And another third point that is very crucial, and I believe with my whole heart that this one comes from Elon Musk. Elon Musk is now the poison of South Africa. It's because he's been giving and feeding Donald Trump false information about his own former country. The country that has his father there. He is painting us now bad, this country bad, as if now he has nothing to do with this. It's like his family, all of them, they just moved to America. And Elon Musk made it quite clear that he's not going anywhere. He will die here. He'll be here. Right, so but it seems like his son is just against everything just to get his own way. Then number 3, why this has happened, this fiasco, this drama has happened, is because Trump called white South Africans, right, because he believes that they can help the US government with food security, food production. That's why Trump called them, and he was hoping that farmers will heed the call and come to the US. And the reports came in, and that Trump was so disappointed to find out that some of these guys who came there to the US security guards, and they have no experience or knows nothing when it comes to farming. So it was the biggest disappointment when it comes to Donald Trump. So Elon Musk, I fully believe that he had some influence. He told them that look, there are people who are Afrikaners who are well equipped, well informed, having the right knowledge when it comes to agriculture and when it comes to planting and harvesting and so forth. And he told Donald Trump that you need such people here in America to come and assist here with our food industry, right, in terms of farming. And Donald Trump now thought that now using now his blinded reasoning capacity, thought that the farmers, as now this was so called to be truth, they will come and run away, right? Only to find out that only security guards came in there, right, to take that refugee status, right? And Donald Trump was so disappointed, but on the outcome. So the moral of this video was to clarify things, to say that now business is fully in charge. So if you've been believing in the myth of state capture, now I want to publicly announce without being ashamed now that this is the real state capture. What we call business has now become the enemy of the people of South Africa, because we know that the Americans, they have no South Africans in mind. They don't even white Afrikaners, they don't have such in mind. They just want to control and to take over, right? And another thing before I close this video, they are angry that South Africa during the Zuma days joined BRICS nation. So they are angry at that because their biggest now enemy, the Americans, is the Russians and the Chinese, and South Africa comes and form part of that. So what do you think we are going to achieve there? Not much, except President Ramaphosa will be told to reverse some policies and to reverse some gains that have been adopted by the ANC. Let us wait and see. Then we'll come back with part 2, part 3, and update you of what is taking ground. But South Africa, welcome to the future. Welcome to the future of the GNU and what the ANC has become. Can't wait to see what will happen after the meeting, right? When the President Ramaphosa is fully back and is working and pushing the agenda. Yeah, I can't wait to see what will be enrolling going forward, because Ramaphosa will be told there that either you sit or you obey. Either you sit or you are out. He'll be told bluntly, because he's meeting the most powerful people who are controlling the world. Please don't forget, you can subscribe to this channel and you can leave a comment on the section below. Until we meet on the next video, and I'm bowing out.